I want to thank everyone for coming. Without you guys, there would be no conference. And actually, I can't look at the slides or look down at my computer, so I'm so used to it. I have to like look up at the camera. Maybe we should move it over more so it's more center there. But I want to thank everyone because without you guys, there'd be no conference. It takes a lot of work to get people to come, to get talks there, to approve talks, to get the best talks, and get microconference all set up. So thank you very much. Also want to thank the sponsors because again, without the sponsors, we also would not have a conference as well. And that Diamond sponsor is Facebook, so thank you very much. And Platinum, we have NetApp, IBM, Western Digital, Gold, ARM, Microsoft Azure, and for cache boxes, even though we don't really have cache boxes, but hey, Collabora, Silver AMD, Red Hat, and of course, this is also a lot of help from the Linux Foundation. So let me start going through. A pop-up is coming up and I can't get there. There we go. I already mentioned all this. Anti-harassment policy is in effect. We have a code of conduct and we plan being very strict with it. It's also up to the moderators to help enforce this. So basically it comes down to everyone should be nice to each other. There should be no insults, no name calling. No one should feel uncomfortable that they're being bullied or any of that. That said, we also want a technical discussion to go on. So it's okay to tell someone they're wrong. Please back it up with evidence of why they are wrong. A technical conference will have arguments. You will have different people coming up different ideas, and they're going to fight to get their ideas to win. And to do that, you will have confrontation. But let's make it civil. Everything should be specific on, make it technical, back up with evidence. When you say, look, according to when I apply your patch or something, this breaks, that's wrong. So basically, still keep it really technical, but everyone be nice to each other. And I'll come back more about that later on in the discussion. Housekeeping. Now, these slides in the beginning are basically going to be the slides that everyone has in the beginning. So please say thanks to our sponsors and everyone. But one thing we want to do to run this conference, there's going to be some policies that we're going to have in place for everyone. And first thing is keep your cameras off unless you want to talk. So basically when you turn your camera on, that's basically raising your hand and saying, I have something to say. So keep your cameras off. And that goes with this training as well. It's okay to be interactive. You can stop me at any time. Just turn your camera on. I know you want to come up and say something, and then I'll let you speak. So that's the idea. Also, if you notice when you logged in, there's two modes to log in by. There's a listen-only mode and a microphone mode. Right now, we're using Big Blue Button, and we're trying to do everything in open source, and we have resources behind this, but there's limitations on how much this can scale. And we want to let people know that there's actually 3 ways to participate or to be involved in the Linux Plumbers. The first 2 is what you saw, the microphone and listen mode. The third way is we have everything, so I have a YouTube channel that we will post links to. In fact, this talk right now has a YouTube channel that's in the chat. If you go look in the chat, you'll find the link to this talk going on right now. If basically I tell people, if you go to a microconference or a talk or whatever, and if you don't really care about the conversations going on, you just are interested in maybe you just want to skim through things and see things, look at the YouTube channels. Go look at that, see if there's something you like in there, that's something you want to watch. But if you want to participate, at least see the conversations going on in the chat, join in listen only mode. That's if you don't have anything, you don't really think you're going to talk, you're not going to be part of the conversation, but you might have a question or something that could be answered in chat. You might want to be watching the chat. Join listen only mode. And if you actually think you might actually say something, or you feel that you're pretty confident that you're going to have a discussion, join microphone mode. This is the reason why we do this is because the listen only mode is a lot less strain on the servers. It will give everyone a better experience to the conference if most people come in listen only mode. If a lot of people come in microphone mode but don't say anything, even though they're on mute, it still drains the servers and it might cause a little bit more overhead on the back end, and we want to make sure that the system is well. There's 900 people registered for this Plumbers. It's basically the biggest registration we've ever had. It's not a live event. We're all at our homes or wherever and doing this virtual. But the servers, that from what we've heard, they've never been, no room has basically had more than 200 people. So with 900 people, there's a chance that one room or two room might have more than 200 people, and we don't know exactly how well everything will work at that scale. So this is why if everyone's in listen-only mode, we're assuming that it's not going to be an issue. But if everyone joins in microphone mode and turn on their cameras, there definitely will be an issue. So keep the cameras off unless you want to say something. And I guess that's enough for that slide. Planning committee, I have to say, I'm like really impressed with this committee. I really believe we pulled off the impossible. When we said we're going to virtual, we had no clue. And that was what, back in March, April timeframe. We're saying we're not doing live, we're going virtual. Or I think May is when we finally made the final decision. We started scrambling back then, looking at platforms and mediums, and we also wanted to stay open source. We didn't want to go to a proprietary system back end. People pulled it off. I am super impressed with everyone on the committee. I really want to state, John and Guy really went above and beyond to pull out the platform, and everyone else has done a tremendous job. But I want to thank everyone about that. I'm impressed. I told John or something like that, if it was me, I wouldn't be able to pull this off. So there's a lot of work. So, what does it mean to be a moderator, especially for microconference runners? Moderators, basically it's up to you to make this a successful conference. You guys being moderator means you have all power. And I know Guy always likes to mention the Peter Parker principle, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's true. We're giving you great power. You actually have basically all the administrative rights that we have when you joined as moderator. You kick people off, you could block people, you could take presentations. So that's all of you. And when you look at the, well, I'm looking down and yes, Mikhail is not a moderator. I could tell by the circle on his, if you look at the user list, all the squares are moderators, the circles will be viewers only. So let me talk about the different, well, what's the word I want to use? The different, I can't think of the word right now, but
privileges.
Roles. Was it?
Privileges.
Privileges. Well, I was thinking more roles. I think probably different, roles or that people have. So the moderator has the biggest, is basically the one that can mute people, can kick people out, can give presenters, can make other people moderators, can demote people from moderator to non-moderator. So right here, Mikhail's not a moderator, so I'm going to promote him to a moderator. So now he's a moderator. So, but then there's also, hello.
Yeah, I should be a moderator because I'm going to moderate the Synduit and Security microconference.
So wait, you should be a moderator or should not be a moderator?
Yeah, I should be one.
Yes, so I think Guy, we probably just have to set you up to be one.
Thank you.
I'm happy to do that right now.
Yep. So although I promoted you to moderator right now, you're only moderator for this session. Once you log off and log in again, you're not going to be moderator unless we do something. So a moderator has power in all this, but then what we also have is a presenter. Now, a moderator isn't the presenter, but can take presenter and become the presenter. Now, what a presenter does is the one that has control of presenting. So you have the slide deck. You can see the slides. You can modify the slides. You could share your screen. You can show videos. That's everything that a presenter has. And you can make a viewer a presenter. So that's actually what the moderator's job is to decide who is going to present and select them as presenter, and they have full control. And I will show some demos later on, but the presenter also has the power to upload slides. And I believe what we're going to do is we're going to open up every room 1 hour before the conference starts so the moderators could come in and upload all the slides for their whole session. That way, it's really, really easy to switch from slide to slide to slide. It's easier than your own laptop. So that way, things will switch over. And all you do is you switch slides, and then you give someone a presenter, and then they have full control. We'll talk more about that later. So, and a viewer just sits back and watches and could talk, and that basically is all they have. So those are the three roles that everyone will have. I want to talk a little bit about what is a microconference. I'm trying to see, yeah, there's some people here running microconferences. If you, let me see, I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to ask a question. Who here, I would say, if you ran a microconference before, select yes. If you have not run a microconference before, select no. And if you're running a track and you've done it before, select yes. If you've running a track, you've never done it before, select no. So there, everyone should have a poll that popped up. And let's see, I think everyone has done this before then. So far I have 3 yeses and 3 no's. Yeah, John. Yep. Okay, and Lena. Yep. So actually, so let you know, this is full disclosure. The polls are not anonymous. Whoever starts a poll could see everyone's answers. So I could see who said what, who hasn't answered. So just beware, and I would suggest that when you do polls, let people know that, by the way, it's not anonymous. But when I do go in and, let's see if I could publish the results, it's anonymous. It doesn't tell anyone else who said yes, who said no. But from here, according to this, 4 people said no, 3 people said yes. So let me talk about what a microconference is. A microconference is not a presentation. It's not something where you go and you show the latest thing or the latest product or what you have done. It's not a place to show off. Microconferences are for where you're stuck, where you don't know how to go further. You have a problem, you have a question, there's issues, new APIs coming out, you want to have a discussion. Microconferences are about discussion. The reason why we call it Plumbers is to get a bunch of people to come in and be able to discuss and talk to people that you don't normally get a chance to talk to. That's the beauty about Plumbers, is the fact that there's a lot of people from different aspects of the Linux ecosystem that you could come in and talk to that you don't normally get to talk to, and you get different perspectives and get different outlooks and get different solutions that might work better than what you could come up alone. So everything in a microconference is about solving a problem. So I always tell people, when people submit topics to a microconference, they should never submit an abstract. They should submit a problem statement. What do you want to have solved? Now, there are certain topics that I think is maybe not that much of a discussion. Like one topic at the real-time microconference is always Thomas Kleichner giving his status of the status of real-time and upstreaming. And basically, I still say that's a discussion because it gets a chance to everyone to say, why isn't real-time upstream yet? So it's a fun time. So that we let that one slide. By the way, here's a good time I'm going to talk about is the slides. The slide here has the links for presenter guide, moderator guide, MC leads, everything. I suggest downloading all of these and reading them. They're very useful. I believe, Guy, I think you wrote most of these, or at least took it from something. You wrote them up. You did a really great job on them. I think maybe John may have helped out on that as well. But if you want to know this, instead of, I think in the chat, I believe Guy posted the links to these, as he did. But also, in case you want to download this slide and have it remember, so say if you don't want to click on the links in the chat, I can sit here and I'll show this in a demo, but I'm going to change it so that down here, if you can see my little red dot, by the way, that's just me putting my mouse over the slide and it looks like a laser pointer. And I come down here, there's this little download arrow there that everyone should have on their screen. Click on that and it'll download these slides. So you'll get to have this slide because of that download. Monday is the conference. We're starting Monday. We're starting at 2 p.m. UTC. For those on the East Coast of the Americas, that's 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. and it's 7 a.m. for those on the West Coast. And figure out the times for everyone else. It's going to be 4 hours for the microconferences, and we suggest that you have at least 2 breaks, 2 15-minute breaks. There's been studies about conference fatigue, especially in a virtual event. Everyone's going to be sitting there in front of their camera, in front of, I guess cameras in front of their computer screens for hours. We're used to that, but now we're all engaged, and it's not the same as this normal human. It could be quite exhausting. So we really recommend having at least 2 breaks. Also, the schedule's out. Those that are in charge of microconferences, you can still kind of accept topics right now and put them in your slots. But please look at the schedule, see what else is being suggested, and try not to get topics that might be overlapping. So, and once you finish your schedule, which we're hoping you do by the end of this week, that you stick to it. Stay with the time frame, and that that way that if someone's looking at and they want to see a specific topic for your microconference, they know when to come in. I think I'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's see here. Yeah, well, here's the tentative schedule. I don't know if we updated this. I think the slide, we've had a tentative schedule. I think this things might have changed. But if you go,
probably not the final one, but the final one is posted now. This was illustrative for the previous ones. It says so in the title.
Right. So let's see here. Okay, this is the part I wanted to talk about. So when you schedule your topics, like I said, there's 3.5 hours of actual time to do your microconference with the 4 hours minus 2 15-minute breaks. That's 3.5 hours. So if you have 30-minute topics, that gives you 7 topics. Stick to that. Go whatever time you have, try to stick to it. Even if the topic's going really, really well, and at the end you don't really want to stop it because the conversation is going really, really good, and you don't want to stop the flow. We have other aspects to move it to. So we have hack rooms. I believe we now have 6 hack rooms. I forgot to count how many. Was it?
It's 5 right now, but it
5?
Can change.
Yeah. We may add more if we find out they're all full and we have the bandwidth. Maybe we'll add another. And yes, I have it too. And then after you get that, so you get to tell people, and then this is for those that got the speaker's gift. And when they're done, so Guy, I think you mentioned that you have the PDFs or something for these, that if they don't have the speaker's gift, that they could download these and print them out.
It's mentioned in the moderator's guide itself. So if you go there, there's a link to a shared folder, and the templates for those in US letter and A4 is available.
We can just put them in the website itself with the other graphic stuff like the slide templates and the t-shirt.
Sure. I didn't want to make it too public because it really isn't that relevant for participants, and I didn't want random people to have them so they would just start interrupting microconferences by putting them up. So that's why I parked them there. So you have to read the moderator's guide to see where those are, so we don't end up with random people doing this when it's not time to do this.
Yeah, Elena, you're kind of hard to hear too. So, anything else you want to mention, Elena? Okay. Yeah. So basically, when the time is up, you move everything to a hack room. That way, you don't have to worry about or the time slots, and everyone else will get time. So just say this topic's going well. You guys can move off to the hack room, but we have to go on to the next topic. The moderators, you're the ones you could take presentation away from people. You could make them stop. So that's your job to make sure everything goes smoothly. Also, another your job is that I want to bring up is if someone's talking and you can't hear them well, let them know that. Come in and say, by the way, we can't hear you. Can you update? Maybe to have them move their mic. Sometimes, a lot of times, especially if people don't use a microphone headset, they use their computer microphone. I found out that seems to be the most distortion a lot, that the microphone on a laptop, if they use that, or a computer, it's always usually very distorted. And a lot of times people have their microphone full blast and it really gets distorted. So if they lower the volume, it gets better. It's up to the moderator to let people know, please change your microphone, So, because they don't know. I mean, I don't know what I sound like on your computers. So I'm assuming I sound awesome because these headsets are so awesome. Thank you, Guy. So again, your job is to make sure everything runs smoothly. Here, okay, the fun part, the capabilities. Now for the quick demo of everything you have. This is where I'm going to get to share my screen and kind of give you ideas of what to do. Let's see. So if I go and down, I guess share my screen.
I want to remind everybody that's here that please interrupt Steve if you have any questions while he's showing something. If something is of interest to you or you have a question, don't hesitate to shout out. This is really for you. So ask all the questions you have, please.
Yeah. The only sad part is if you ask something now, in fact, I see Dave came up, so I'm going to cancel sharing my screen, because if I go to share my screen, I don't see.
Can you explain where you're clicking, what button, where on the screen when you do something like start a poll?
I'm just about to, I'm going to do a demo right now, so you guys get to see everything I'm doing. Because once I'm going to click here, share my screen. So you should be able to see my screen right about now.
It's a good illustration that it does take a few seconds. It's a lot of data that gets streamed over. So temporize yourself, give yourself a few seconds, 5-10 seconds before the shared screen appears everywhere else. And it made it all the way to the YouTube live channel. So you can go ahead.
Okay, so here I switched, I'm right now in Hack Room 2. So I'm not in the same thing, because if I go to, I'll switch back to here, and now I get the whole, 1,000 mirror effect. So I going into Hack Room 2. I logged in as a trainee on another computer to say, just to show that there's a user there. You guys can see my mouse, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here, so now here's some things. First of all, I noticed the Hack Room 2 didn't have a default presentation. I clicked on that and I got this. I don't know, was that, did we change something?
We, if you read your email, you'll see that the committee is finalizing the review of the default slide deck, and we will upload that later today or tomorrow. So we are, the slides are being reviewed, and the ones you saw here, I just uploaded myself, but we are just finalizing them. Okay. I wrote them, so basically people are going through typos right now.
Right. So I'm going to go in here and say, let's say, by the way, this is what I see as a viewer. Now, if I go and I want to set this trainee as the viewer, I click on the left mouse button. I could start a private chat, make presenter. I click there. Now they have a presenter. You notice buttons here lost from me. I'm no longer in charge of the slides or the presentation or sharing my screen on this thing because the trainee is here. So I'm going to actually, if you click on the little plus here, I could take presenter, which I now got my power back. Because I'm a moderator, I can do that. People who are not moderator cannot take presenter from you. Let's see. So I'm going to upload slides. So if you click now on this, I have more actions. I could start a poll. That's where you saw it. When I clicked here, I said yes or no, and yes or no. Let's see. I'm down here. Polling option, yes. And then I see over here that trainee said yes. There's the option, publish results, and yay.
That's what we mean by the polling results not being anonymous. You can see the answer the user provided right here.
Yep, right there I see the trainee anonymous said yes. So that's why I let people know that I can see your answers. Some people may not want to say something if they know what you're going to say. So be careful what you ask. When I sit, by the way, I'll just go about the poll real quick. I have some default polls, true or false, A, B, A, B, C, D, E. I could also create a custom poll. Well, I said, is it fun? It's going to get 3 different things. Start custom poll. If I go down here, I see 3 different answers with different things. A custom poll you could add there. Go back. Yeah, I responded. No, it is not. So we'll talk more about this in a little bit. I see Guy is joining.
I wanted to add a webcam there so people can see what the screen looks like with a webcam on top.
Yep.
Because there's a very well hidden feature that if you grab between the presentation area and the slides, so right here, just below you can actually resize. So if you want to maximize the size of the screen share as a viewer, when you do that, you actually can slide up and slide down or maximize the content, minimize the slides. So Those are some of the features that will take a while to get used to for all of the users, but eventually it gets pretty comfortable. There's ways to focus people, there's ways to maximize certain users or focus on the content. You can remove all of it. That's a lot of me on that screen. And you can manipulate all of that. So invite your users. If you're doing a detailed demonstration, that's just a small terminal. Remember, the font size is never too big. And invite them to maximize the screen share area or the slides so they can read comfortably what you're wanting them to see and be able to read.
And I do want to state, this is something that, stay on there, Guy, so just so you know. A lot of people want to say, like, how do I get the presentation? I don't see the presentation. You got to tell them down at the right corner here is restore presentation. And there, you get to see the presentation back. I've actually had some people ask me, like, when I join in, I'm like, I don't see a presentation. They didn't realize that you had to click on that little notion there. So if you minimize the slides or the screen, you got to hit that button to come back. It's not always that obvious. If you notice as I mouse over, the red dot follows, like I said, that's like a laser pointer there. Was it the other one I wanted to talk about? Oh, uploading. So let me upload some slides. So I click on here and I could upload a presentation. You'll see here's the current default. Now I'm going to say, let's see, browse. Let's do these slides. And I could say upload. But right now, let's say I'm going to keep the current slide going and hit upload. So I'm actually uploading another deck of slides. And the reason why I'm showing you this is that when it's done, should be done. Hello.
You can just click close.
Oh yeah, whoops, bump. Oh, upload. Oops, close. Okay, so reason why I'm showing that is, let's say, let me switch back to upload presentation. I'm going to switch to those slides. Yeah, that's weird. It says upload. Usually it says confirm, doesn't it?
Yes, it should say.
Yeah.
Your client may be a little too busy and the UI didn't refresh. This is a pretty intensive HTML5 app that you're using. So having few of them open, it may have chosen not to do the right thing.
So let's say I'm in the middle of talking, or someone's talking about the anti-harassment policy, and then someone comes to you and goes, "Oh, I just updated my slides. Here's the new PDF file. Can you add them? I'm next." So you need now to upload someone else's slides, but you want to do it now. You don't want to, wait, or you don't want to spend time uploading them. But if you know the person's going to be on this slide for a while, so let's say if the trainee is sitting there talking, and someone sends me their slides, and I want to upload them while they're talking on the slide, I would go down here and say take presenter. So no one notices anything. I just took presenter from the trainee. The trainee will notice that his things changed, but maybe you want to say, hey, trainee, I have to upload some slides. Just continue talking. I'm going to take presenter. I'll give it back to you. And then you go upload presentation. Let me, oops, hello, oops, that's the wrong button. Upload presentation, browse, documents. Let me just pick something. One of my EDF is there. Open this. Okay. So I sit there and say upload. Now, notice this little circle there. This is important. The person that's giving the presentation right now is on whatever says current. So I would make sure I select current, so nothing will change while I do this operation. But this is to be uploaded. Now when I hit upload, it's uploading the next slides. It's converting the file. I guess it doesn't like that file. So also let you know, I believe, if I understand this correctly, OpenOffice is the back end for this. So you could, whatever OpenOffice could read, big blue button could read, but it will convert it to a PDF before it displays it. So if you have a PDF, it doesn't do the conversion, although obviously it did here. Maybe it didn't like that PDF, but if it has a PDF, you can see it's best to use that and not have to waste the server energy to do the conversion for you. But you noticed when it came back, this person's still trainees going, and I go back and say make presenter, and no one noticed, no one was bothered the fact that I took presenter, uploaded some slides, and gave it back. Its key is you got to make sure you remember to click that current. Otherwise, when it uploads and finishes, it'll switch over to the slides you just uploaded. So do not do that. Now, when this trainee's all done, he's finished all the slides, you could say, take presenter, go back to upload a presentation. Now I want to talk here, and I'm going to upload, and now I got the next slides already. And then I go back to the next presenter and make them the presenter, and that's how quick it is. Right now, that's one presenter to the next presenter. Like I said, this is quicker than even if you had the same laptop, because a lot of times this is harder than just running PDFs. So, I mean, this is easier than running just PDFs. Also, if you notice, though, I'm going to take presenter again, upload presentation. If I wanted people to download, as I did for you, so current, you'll see current is the ELC print K talk I gave. Right here, you'll see this little download things. I click on it, and it turns that the slash goes away. And now, if I hit upload, you'll notice down here is the little download sign. So that's what I did when I told everyone, hey, you could download these slides. I went in, clicked on that, switched everything over, and said, now you could download. Okay, I'm going to stop share. Okay, first I'm going to show you another few features, this little tools on the right side. So let me switch back to these slides.
While you do that, I want to mention that for specific demos and things like that, there's a particularly useful feature for that. So as you saw, enabling screen share takes a few seconds. But if you just want to share a screenshot, you can just capture that. Uploading a single file image as a presentation material is a great way of getting people a screenshot of a terminal or showing them an existing slide somewhere else. So you can make use of that if you're looking at a snippet of code and you don't want to just drop it in the share. You want it to be slightly better represented. Sharing screenshots, pictures, images, single files works very well there, and they'll be rendered properly for you. Steve.
Great. Yep. So I got the whiteboard here. Now what I'm going to do is click on the tools. Let's see here, this tool chain here, and I go and click on pencil, and now I can draw. I can click here, make a box, circle, and all fun stuff. Write text. Yeah, draw the box for the text. It's not like most places where you just click. You actually have to draw the box.
Correct.
Right. So, and then, I could undo certain things, delete everything. And I'll talk about this last box in a little bit when I switch over to you guys. I think, and then one more thing I want to show you is this share external video. This, I'll actually give a demo for it in a little bit, but I'll do it on ours. But this share, if you want to show a demo, sometimes since doing what I'm doing, sharing my screen is actually a lot of CPU power. I believe it's on the servers and on my laptop and everything else. So it's better if you want a demo, it's best if people will just record it and upload it to YouTube. If you upload a video, any of like a little demo on YouTube, you just put in that URL here, and then it streams right to everyone else, and it makes the servers much happier on our end. So that's highly recommended. I'll talk about that too. And that's why I also want to go in here and start talking about what happens if you have problem things. So, well, Guy, you didn't come on as muted, so you came on. So let me switch over back to us, and Guy, go talk a little bit.
Yes, I want to make my point.
So see that up here where I saw Guy's name, I just went up and clicked on it, and that mutes. If I click on me, I'll mute myself. If you click on me, you'll mute me. So please don't.
I was making a very important point, and then you interrupted me, but my point is more important than your point, and this is where...
Yes. So I can sit there and click. So also... So, yes. So if you go here, and if I go back and say if I don't like this person, if I click here, I can also, they didn't come in. That's right. They didn't. Oh, they're muted anyway. So you can't unmute them. So I wonder if I could, hold on a second. I'll go in here, unmute myself. And just mute the person. So I click on this guy too. And there's this turn off meeting mute. I like to do that, right? Because there's So I turn off meeting mute because I guess that's what happens when everyone comes in muted. And I can make all users muted. I can make all users except the presenter muted. The lock viewers is like, say if you just don't want anyone's webcam on, I could turn off the webcams. There's other things here. I don't know all the details. I know, Guy, you know a lot more.
Well, about the webcams, you can make the point that this is the only mean we have for stopping photobombing by users. So there is no way for you to mute a single user camera, just the way somebody muted Steve or myself a little bit ago. It's a limitation of the platform. If somebody is being disrespectful or is abusing their webcam, the only recourse you have are, one, to disable webcam sharing for everyone, the way Steve just showed you by going to the settings in the users list and log viewers and then removing webcam support, or removing the abusing user altogether. And that's going to be shown now.
Right there. So I'll kick you out.
Go
so
ahead.
Hit remove user. Now it says I can say prevent this user from rejoining. So don't do that first, ideally. But if you just say yes, bye-bye, Guy. He could come back now. But if you could click on do not let him in, he will not come. He will not be able to come in until the very end of the session. So, or until the session is over, where you go and close everything, which you should not be doing, by the way. What I'm saying is, if I go click on options here, end meeting and log out have two different meetings.
We decided we're gonna remove the end meeting feature. We're gonna patch that out.
Okay. Yes, because when you end meeting, you actually end the meeting and every recording and everything else. So if someone wanted to extend it, or if there's something coming on behind you, we have to set up everything back up again. So we're getting rid of that, so I don't need to really talk about it. So log out, but I believe that's if you kick someone out for good, that means that they're out for good until, because I believe that means they can't come in until the meeting's over. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
Right. So don't say do not rejoin in unless. If you have to do that because someone's really being obnoxious, that's when the code of conduct has to be applied. And we have links, or we have information in the document, I believe, right, Guy, about where to go. I believe we have abuse or something on Rocket Chat, which is so report that, write up what happened, why this person's. We will go and deal with this because we're having a very strict policy that. If someone's being abusive, we don't want them here. Like I said, we have 900 attendees. We want this to go as smooth as possible. And with 900, there's a chance that there might not be some nice people that come in. I'm sure everyone is awesome, but if there's 900 people, I'm still looking at my camera down here. If there's 900 people, there's probably bound to be someone that might be abusive, so we will kick them out. So I think that's, let me go on that note. And that's, like I said, I think I showed you, all that. So on that note, let me stop sharing. It's not this screen. And I wanted to go back to the whiteboard and show another thing. Well, there's not a whiteboard. Hey, you got you wanted to do the poll. Haha. So if I wanted to do a poll here, there. This is what if you have a slide with something information and you want to poll, again, I could see everyone what you're doing. So, and in the meantime, I'm going to have some fun. I just gave everyone access to draw on the slide. That was that little squiggly thing at the bottom that I told you, that I said I'm going to talk about later. Of all the tools, there's that little box with the other squiggly. So now everyone has the ability to draw and play. And I could make things go away too, and I could clear everyone's, I believe, right? Whoops. No, I could stop it. I have to stop it, then clear it. So that was just to give you an idea to play. Where's the, I don't know. Let's see, that was that part that I wanted to show. I post results. Thank you. Let's see. There's the whiteboard that I wanted. And I'm sure I forgot something else. What else was there supposed to, is there anything else to bring up?
You covered a lot of ground. I think maybe mentioning the shared notes on the side, the fact that those are Etherpad based, maybe share your screen for that again, or people can explore on their own. The importance of downloading their files, if there is important conversations in the chat and things like that, I think those could be useful as well.
So I'll go back here. Everyone could see. So let me just, so I don't have 1,000 things here. Is there a way to, oh, I don't know, keep my face really big. But here you have the public chat. Everyone's seeing the shared notes, which is, I believe, was a kind of it's Etherpad backed.
Etherpad Lite, yes.
Yes. Import and export, right? If we want
Yes.
to, we'll probably say this. Oh yeah, that's another thing I do want to cover is about the microconferences. Again, we plan on having some sort of write-up. I'm not sure if we're going to have any talk about like at the end where everyone presents something, but please take notes of your microconference as you go in. Write up stuff in the shared notes. If you have an external thing, record it. We'll try to download and save everyone's notes. And then I'm going to expect everyone to have like a summary or write-up about this, and we'll probably post a blog like we did last year. If you noticed inside, if you go to 2019, all the if you go to the accepted microconference links and look at all the microconferences, there's also a section that says summary. So we want a summary of all that was accomplished. One thing that makes Plumbers stand out among basically all other conferences, if you ask me, is the fact that it's extremely focused on being productive. This is kind of a work conference, and to get people to have all these wonderful sponsors to continue sponsoring us and get people to sponsor when we go back to being live events and we have companies sending their employees to come here, we want them to know that it's a good investment. So when we have summaries about how well things were done at the microconferences, that helps. The managers will be reading this and saying, wow, there's a lot of work that gets done here. It's not just a free-for-all or everything like that. So people go there to get things done, and that's what we love about Plumbers. I'm really excited about every year for Plumbers comes. It's my favorite conference because I get to talk technical. There's no marketing involved. It's just coming down and learn a lot and hear how discussions are made, why technical decisions were made. I think that's really exciting. It's unique among Plumbers, and it takes the work from moderators and the microconference runners to achieve that. So it's a bit of work, and I understand that. I've been a microconference runner several times too, and I appreciate the work that everyone does. And the more people put into that, the better it is overall, and the longer that our productivity lasts for Plumbers. So I just wanted to say that. Let's see. So as I ended that, anything else? I don't know if there's, so it's on the slides here. Oh, yes, we are on break. This is what I wanted to state. So when you're doing the 15-minute breaks, we are going to have this on here, although I noticed that we don't have, there's going to be 2 slides, I believe, right, Guy? One without this line below. It's just going to say we are on break. And then we're going to have a slider right after that you'll go to that has this line below. And then what you could do is you go in and let me share my screen just so.
So you have read that email, Fred.
Okay, I probably read them, but there's certain things that I'm like, yeah. So if you go in here, and I'm sharing it, but that's not what I wanted. Wrong thing. Start poll, custom poll. I'm just going to type ready, custom poll. And now when you come back after the 15-minute break is over, you send out the ready custom poll to everyone, and then you can just wait for people, and then you can kind of ping people, like say, Elena, are you here? Are you at your desk? Are you not watching? Are you listening? John, are you? Lena? Try to make sure this is a way you could see who's here and who's ready, so you know someone's at the screen. Because, like I said, we're keeping the video off, and you won't know who's here or who's not. So this is a good way to get a good idea of everyone here. And then when you start, you get to see how many people are ready. Okay, and oops.
You accidentally demonstrated that when the presenter zooms inside the presentation area, this actually affects all the viewers. So if you want to emphasize something on a slide, you can use that feature for that.
Yes. Okay. So actually, I think what happened was I moved things. I already logged in I think what happened was I shared the screen and I adjusted it as I was coming back. So I think it screwed up the size. I don't think I accidentally zoomed in. I think it was I resized the screen as I was coming back. And I
It's
think
possible.
Yeah.
If you use your scroll mouse wheel, that will affect it as well. You can control the
Yeah.
slides using your keyboard shortcuts. So left, right arrow, up, down, page up, page down. If you're focused on the presentation area, we'll change the slides for you.
Oh, hey, I learned something. See, I'm glad I came to this. Let's see. So let's see how to handle questions. Yeah, for questions, like I said, we should probably always have someone looking at the public chat and everything. So if some people maybe come in listen only mode, they might just want to say something. So it's always good to have someone looking at the public chat or having the public chat, and a question comes up, and you have your microphone on, and you could tell if someone says something, and you could see that their microphone's not on. Like maybe just turn on your webcam and say, "Hey, there's a question here that's good. Let's and repeat it out loud." So people see. Then, like I said, everything's being recorded. That's another thing. Everything's basically being recorded. So even the BOFs and everything like that, because it's a virtual conference, and you just got to expect to be recorded. And there's certain things technical-wise, even when we're not recording, Big Blue Button is recording. So instead of giving anyone false security, thinking that they could say something that that they wouldn't say if they knew it was being recorded, we just tell everyone everything's being recorded. So be aware when you speak, you are being recorded. So let everyone know that. There was something else.
You made a good point about the fact that on the slide, it states that there are a lot of places where questions can come from. So as your microconference lead, just set the tone. Tell them where you want the questions to come in. If you really want to encourage vocal and visual participation, tell people to have their questions live on the chat. If you don't want to collect them in a shared notes, the way GNOME did it, tell them you prefer public chat. Or if you want to keep all of the text-based communication inside of Rocket Chat and only focus on video and the slides here, do that. It's really up to you. Those are various means by which people can communicate with the presenter and the MC leads. I suggest that you make your choice and you state that clearly and early in your session so that people commonly use that as the primary source for interacting and asking questions.
I have a question, Guy. So is the Rocket Chat stuff logged and recorded as well and available after the conference?
That is an excellent question. I do not know the answer to your question.
Yeah.
I will investigate. I am certain, given everything is stored in a database, that everything can be retrieved. Whether or not there's a simple, easy way to export that, I haven't investigated, but I am convinced we can. Also, it's a good segue to say that we have support from the Rocket Chat team. The guys behind the project and the company are helping us, and if we need any of their support for that, they will be glad to help us.
So, question. Everyone here knows what Rocket Chat is.
Maybe you can share your screen and show yours if you're logged in now, or you're still not. You are.
Yeah, I am logged in. Just let me make sure I go to the general site before I do that. Okay, so Rocket Chat is basically a open source version of Slack. So let me share my screen. And I'm in the general. Well, since I'll go to moderators. And it's in, if you go to chat 2020 linuxplumbersconf.org, just click there. It requires the same credentials that you logged in for the meet at 2020. And then you could say, and it's basically, again, it's just like Slack, but it's a web interface. Everyone should be able to get an account. If you're logged here, you'll be able to get an account. I believe that all the we're gonna have channels for each microconference.
They're already created, yes.
Yep. So, in fact, if you saw in there, I'm already set up to be in containers, real-time scheduler, and Android or something. I selected some that I was planning on going to attend. So please join. All these options are for you to get and try to mingle. There's one of the sad parts about being a virtual conference is the lack of hallway track, but hopefully with having like Rocket Chat and the public forums and these forums and hack rooms and buffs, we could try to kind of get a little bit more interaction that would help offset what we lose with the hallway tracks. So be involved, talk to people, and I don't know, I think we're coming close to the end. Is there anything else?
I wanted to mention the slides again. I put it on the chat, but just to make sure that the contributions to the microconferences, if there are slides, they are also uploaded in Indico in the website. So they're there for people that want to look at it after the conference.
Yes. Doing the upload that I just demonstrated does not upload it to the website. The only people that could download the slides are those that you are at that microconference with the from Big Blue Button. By uploading slides on Big Blue Button, the only people that will be able to download slides are the ones that are there at the time. If you say download, and if you forget to select the download, they want you to be able to do that. We expect all slides to be uploaded to Indigo for whatever session and topic you're at. So please encourage the submitters and speakers to go back and upload your slides on the website. Yes, they gave it to you, or maybe if you want to do it for everyone, yeah, that's up to you. But you tell them, please give me the slides and also upload it to Indigo, the normal where they submitted their abstracts and problem statements. Even like I said, yeah, okay. Just want to say, even though I said that, like microconference, I want to talk about slides a little bit. I forgot to mention this about when I talked about microconferences. I found that slides really do help discussions. Some people really think slides means presentation. I used to think that too until I went to microconferences and I saw two different microconferences. One where all the topics had a lot of slides, and one where they basically said no slides, or at least just one slide. And I found out that the ones with a lot of slides had a lot more discussion, a lot more involvement from a larger group of people. And that's because what they did was the slides said, here's our problem. It described what they're facing. It described possible solutions. It described, like, we were thinking of doing this, but here's the pros, here's the cons. And that was all demonstrating slides, 15 slides. So they spent 5 to 7 minutes of a 15-minute period basically presenting what the problem is. And then the second half was a huge environment. Everyone was on the same page. Everyone knew what was going on, and they had a lot of good discussions. And then I went to the microconference that they said, no slides, we only want discussions. And when someone got up and explained it, 2 people in the audience of 100 people were involved, and everyone else had no idea what they were talking about. So when people talk about slides or no presentation, that doesn't mean no slides. Slides should be there to help encourage the discussion. And those slides are also good to upload as well, so people could say what was talked about. Oh, this was the problem. So even if someone came that wasn't there, or they're going to watch the video, they could see the slides and say, okay, I see what's being discussed here. Yeah, I want to go back and watch what solutions were. So slides are not bad, and please upload them. Yes. Anything else?
Yeah, I had a comment about the shared notes. Same thing. Save them, export them, keep a copy, and then those will be uploaded also to Indico. You can send it to us. We can do it. You can do it. But we want to make sure they're saved as well.
Yeah, so when you're done with the conversation, as I'm going to share my screen one more time, up here, if you see the caption, save the comment, the chat, shared notes. It's this double thing. You can export as HTML, plain text. I don't know. Are we suggesting to them something to export it as?
I think either PDF or HTML or text. I mean,
yeah,
something that's easily readable.
Yeah, we don't have a strong preference.
Okay. So, I mean, this was actually, I felt like I was able to talk a lot, but this seemed to be very much more a presentation than discussion, although we are trying to present something here. This is more like a referee track, but please, questions? Anyone have anything Everyone fine? Everyone good? Yes, no.
I have a comment. This is for Guy. The polling in the YouTube shows that there is some weird thing there we can discuss later, but I saw
Yeah,
it didn't show.
it was Steve's fault.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what I figured it couldn't possibly be my hack, right? It couldn't possibly be. No, it's. I think I know what happened. I can't really do anything about that. But yeah, you see, I published the results for the previous poll you had made. So the polls are maintained. You just need to know how to retrieve them again. All right. There must be other questions, or at this point, since we're just a few minutes before the end, if I can invite everyone that's so inclined and willing to turn on their webcams now. I just want to see what kind of loads we create on the machines, and exactly, we have 3 minutes left. I'd love to see your pretty faces. Time is up, yes. We're the only thing that stands between either coffee or beer and Dave. That's not a good place to be.
Or sleep.
Oh, it's middle of the afternoon. No, remember, it's 3 hours behind. Hello, everyone. Wonderful. Nice, it's working. No more questions? I mean, you shout out, David.
Why doesn't that YouTube guy respond to the polls?
Yes, I didn't think about that until just now. We've done 3 of those sessions and I've played with it a lot. It's not one thing I thought to hide. If you look at the rest of it, the UI, the controls at the bottom of your screen and the controls at the top, I removed all of that. I removed the chat because it takes too much screen real estate. The way they do polling is a bit tricky, but I will find a way to hide it as well. So we'll get rid of that. The other thing that is annoying me is you can see the controls for like minimizing or full screens on the YouTube screen as well, which turns out those are a little tricky to hide as well. But I'll get to it if I give up on sleep entirely. It's great to see everyone. No question, really? Was he that clear? We're talking about Steve here, right? This is impressive. Well done. I mean, this is the 4th one he's doing, and I have to concur that he's done a stellar job this time around. So of all of the ones that we've recorded, I believe I will save this one and make it available for playback for all of the MC leads. So if you have anyone in your team that is working with you that hasn't attended any of the 4 sessions, please request of them to watch this version of it that we will publish very soon for everyone to use.
I think there's no questions because a lot of people are going to experiment on their own independently after going through this presentation and ask questions later, I suppose.
There's already been quite a bit of peer support. So in the moderators chat channel in Rocket Chat, people have done a lot of that already, so don't hesitate to ask. There is a lot of people that have been there before you, or you may have some insightful things you can share. So I invite you to ask any questions you have of us in here, because in a few instances already today, people got to answer others before John or others have gotten to the question.
I'd say also don't hesitate to go in and play around in the hack rooms. They're meant to be played with. We may still thrash the system a bit between now and Monday, so if things go down, don't be surprised. But otherwise, go in and play.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop that at Monday. Things might be up, but yes. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Steve, back to you.
Okay, well, actually, I have nothing left. I just want to thank everyone, and again, just feel free to play the system. I hope this is helpful. I think we had a lot of people, and yeah, this is my 4th time, so to do it, I think this was probably my smoothest of the talking. The first one, I started off telling everyone, this is the first time, we have no idea what we're doing, expect a disaster. It really wasn't a disaster, but
it was great. I really liked the first one, and I think that's the one where we had the most questions. It's also the one where we had the most people, so they were feeding on each other's, and they asked a lot of really interesting questions that were all included in the moderator's guide, or that were mentioned here by Steve as a follow-up. So you're benefiting from the questions of the first 3 groups.
I think that might be also a reason why we have less questions now, is because we know what to expect. So I think I've added things that were asked from the previous 3 sessions. So, well, thank you, everyone. I'll let everyone go back, and I'll see you. I'm excited to see everyone on Monday.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Oh.
Bye.